Good morning, everyone. I want to personally thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us for this webinar on the Autism Spectrum Disorder Recognition and Response for First Responders. My experience with ASD comes from a professional and personal perspective, working with the ASD community and having a close family member directly affected by ASD. My goal for this webinar is to provide everyone a baseline understanding of ASD and providing you some tools to keep everyone safe while encountering an individual with ASD. Here are some quick facts on the autism spectrum disorder. As of 2020, CDC has estimated that 154 individuals are diagnosed within the spectrum. In 2013, autism was now referred to as Autism Spectrum Disorder. And this is because 5 different disorders were placed under the ASD umbrella. ASD is a bio-neurological developmental disorder that generally appears before the age of 3. It impacts the normal development of the brain in the area of social interaction, communication skills, and cognitive function. The disorder could be from high functioning, mild, moderate, or severe, with possible co-occurring medical conditions. And boys are 4 times more likely than girls to be diagnosed with ASD. Unfortunately, the rate has grown steadily over the last 20 years, and as of today's date, no cure has been developed to cure ASD. When you have an opportunity, I recommend you watch a YouTube video called Amazing Things Happen by Alexander Amelines to give you perspective on how someone with ASD sees the world around them. It's an excellent video. Here's what is now included under the autism spectrum disorder. A person can be diagnosed within the spectrum in any of these co-occurring conditions. Let me give you a more detailed information on the additional conditions. And first of all, is the oppositional defiant disorder, specific learning difficulties, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD, anxiety, Tourette syndrome, OCD, developmental coordination disorder, gifted, sensory integration disorder, auditory processing, depression, and attention deficit disorder. So here are some tips or pointers for you to look for when responding to a scene as a first responder where you suspect that you might be dealing with an individual who might have a developmental disability. Ask the family members, neighbors, or witnesses if anyone is autistic. See if you can locate any paraphernalia, such as a vehicle license plate holder, stickers, magnets, pins, hats, t-shirts that have a logo or emblem for autism. Many individuals have some type of ID or jewelry identifying them as autistic, with specific medical conditions or disorders like being nonverbal or seizures. If possible, check your first responders' calls for service history and see if anyone has been identified with a developmental disability at your location. Some individuals with ASD that are nonverbal or have limited speech capabilities use an electronic assisted device, PECS, also known as Picture Exchange Communication System, or other means to assist them with their communication. In essence, the electronic assisted device and PECS use picture icons for the individual who is nonverbal or has limited ability. They can line up the icons to formulate a sentence and give them the ability to communicate with you. Here are some common indicators for individuals with autism: avoiding eye contact, being upset by relatively minor changes, hypersensitivity to their senses, sound, smell, taste, and touch, and hyposensitivity to pain and body control. What I mean by this is high tolerance to pain and lack of body control. Repetitive behaviors, verbal or physical, for example, hand flapping, rocking motion, spinning, or humming. Not following directions, persistent, reliance on rules and routines, and not responsive to names, questions, or instructions. Please keep in mind that the individual's lack of response for attention is not because they're being defiant, but is due to their disorder. Maintain a safe distance and take the necessary approved actions to diffuse and control the situation as best as you can. Here are some scenarios where I can see the response escalating quickly due to not following directions and creating a tenser situation for all involved. For example, medical emergencies, domestic violence, a traffic accident or a traffic citation, disturbing the peace, a missing person, or maybe a child protective services or a child welfare services removal or evaluation. Here are some actions that can lead to a trigger resulting in a negative or unsuspected reaction from an individual with ASD. For example, overstimulation from touching or loud noises from sirens, a bullhorn, screaming, the radio or the TV being too loud, bright lights or shiny objects, large groups, too many at the scene, unwarranted searches or touching, crying, or being soiled or wet. Here's a list of some of the possible reactions from a triggering event. The individual could start screaming, running away with a lack of danger awareness, kicking, punching, pushing, throwing objects, self-harm by banging their head or biting, or tantrum that usually have a purpose, looking for a response, and the person will usually calm down after getting what they want, or meltdown, a reaction to trying to process too much sensory input all at once. If you can, find a quiet place to de-escalate the situation and attempt to calm down the individual. Here are some things to consider if you have an encounter with a person with ASD. If the individual is placed down, be aware of underdeveloped muscles that will restrict their breathing ability and place them on their side as quickly as possible. Use a blanket to prevent them from injuring themselves, seizures, and also surprisingly strong while agitated or scared. Again, high tolerance to pain. Monitor the individual often and be aware that they're attracted to water, like pools, lakes, rivers, or oceans. And also don't forget that they can sometimes be runners and they'll try to get away to relieve the stressor or the anxiety. Here are some of the common best practices when encountering a person with ASD. Please assess the individual, and every person with autism is different. Ask before proceeding to avoid any triggers. Attempt a low-key, soft approach and be non-intimidating. If possible, a two-person team with a male and female participant. Keep it simple. Give them literal actions or language. If available and safe, ask family members or caretakers to assist or mediate. And most importantly, take advantage of time. Build a rapport with the individual and be very patient. I highly recommend that you or your agency put together a response kit to assist you with communicating, assisting, and comforting somebody with ASD. For example, in my personal kit, I carry the following items: non-scented wipes, regular or weighted blankets, toys like Legos, puzzles, stuffed animals for both genders, a notepad, pens, pencils, and markers, an electronic device like a cell phone, an iPad, a tablet, or a laptop, a DVD player and movies, headphones, that are audio and noise cancellation type, coloring books, crayons, stickers, Play-Doh, and bubbles. Bubbles are a great tool to de-escalate and entertain the younger kids. Here's a list of resources that may come in handy when assisting family members or caretakers of someone on the autism spectrum disorder. Within the Department of Developmental Services website, you can find information on the 21 regional centers statewide, and that's in California. They are a great resource and can provide guidance and assistance. For school-age kids, you can also reach out to the County Office of Education and local districts as a resource. Regarding the American Sign Language, I found it useful to keep a pocketbook version with me at all times and learn the basic common signs to be able to communicate with someone who was nonverbal and using sign language to communicate. Here's a list of family resource support groups that may provide guidance and support for families with members with autism. I personally use all these 4 websites on a consistent basis. The Autism Speaks website, Autism Society, talking about curing autism, and Spectrum News Autism. And lastly, missing persons resources that can provide guidance and tools to assist with the prevention or response in missing person cases. Many law enforcement agencies in the US are developing or have a special needs registry where you can register your loved one on this registry with all their biographical information, medical conditions, and photos. That helps expedite the distribution of the information to first responders. Please keep in mind that studies have confirmed that individuals with autism have a higher percentage of being wanderers. It is highly recommended to use some type of electronic equipment such as GPS trackers or bracelets that may help locate an individual who has gone missing. Please email your questions to Emma Edwards or save them for the live session. And again, thank you for all your time. Please be safe and take care of yourselves and our ASD communities. Thank you.